Hi everyone, I am Lesego Monare, and here we are starting a podcast. So I might add, this is not something I saw coming. I grew up knowing that I've got something to say and I've got a story to tell and I've got so much to teach and so much to learn from people. And my favorite thing is just having short conversations with people, long, deep conversations with people, and just finding out what other people's stories are, where they've been and what they've been through. And I think this sort of came more as a calling. I've done a bit of radio, I've done a bit of emceeing, and I've done a bit of modeling. So this sort of seems like the next logical step. As I said, I have a story to share, and I've got a lot that I've learned that I'd like to share. And this all started, I think, with the way that I grew up and knowing other people's stories and how they built the person that I have become. Because I think a lot of me lived through other people's stories. So I would listen to a story, and I'm such an empath to a point where I ended up digging myself into somebody else's story, and their experience became my experience. And this is what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping for the young people, those that are younger than me, for them to walk a mile in my shoe and sort of understand what I've been through, to make it easier for them navigating their lives and their decisions. So it's like, I've been here. You can decide, do you also want to come here, or it's not something that you want to do personally? So growing up, I'm the youngest of four. So I've got two brothers and one sister. We are all 2 years apart from each other. And for me, growing up as the youngest child, I always feel like I've lived 3 other lives aside from myself, having been observing them living their lives, seeing them achieve things, fail at things, grow at things, develop their own personalities. I think that helped me sort of decide for myself what I want to become and what I want to do. And it shaped the person that I've become, and it shaped me being here today. I grew up with a single mom. Unfortunately, my dad passed on when I was 8 years old. I didn't get a chance to actually meet him per se. I met him obviously at that age, but meet him in a sense that I didn't remember most of my childhood memories. I don't remember a lot about him, but I do know that he loved me, and I do know that he was fun and enjoyed having a good time with his children. And then from then on, I went to primary school. And in primary school, I had a mother that supported absolutely anything I wanted to do, be it netball, be it modeling, be it public speaking, whatever activity that was given to us to take part in. My mom was always there and was always supporting it. And I think that's what developed my keen interest into trying new things and trying things that I've never done before, and seeing whether I excel, and also making sure that I excel in them, because I knew that my mom would be there for me and she'd be cheering me on, offering me advice. And if we both didn't know what to do, she'd be there doing the research and trying to find out what sort of thing this is and how to go about it. And in primary school, I remember I think this was grade 3. I struggled a lot with confidence because I had moved to a new school and I wasn't sure. I didn't have friends. So it was a very uncertain time. And then taking part in activities sort of helped me make friends, also develop my own personality, have a backbone, and be the strong person that I became today. And then moving on into high school, I know in high school, I was already very, very stubborn, and I had my personality and I did what I wanted when I wanted. And this is something that my mother enforced in me. So I could never get along in large groups because I did what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And it was hard to navigate when you're going to make friendships, because, in high school, it's about cliques, it's about belonging to a certain group. And for me, I was my own person. And I think being my own person and taking part in activities, that's the only thing that made me friends, because we had that in common. And because I made sure that I excelled so much in those activities, it sort of allowed people to draw towards me. And then that's how I had friends and I kept friendships and things like that. I know in high school, I did a lot of public speaking. I did a lot of pageantry, which was modeling that my mom put me in. I did a lot of sports playing. So I played netball, I did athletics, and on athletics day, I was not good at it. Like, I don't want to lie, I was not good at it, but I applied myself. So I was the type of person, if there was like a sport that was open, I would go. So I don't know if you know shot put, but it's the one with the heavy ball that you had to throw, and then if you threw it further, you'd win. I was skinny, I was tiny, and I still went for that. And my reason was just that I just wanted to see if I could do it. And I tried that. I did track, so I did 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, 800 meters. Okay, I didn't do the long distance stuff because there was no way. No, I wasn't there yet. But then I did the fast stuff. I did javelin, and I remember I had an experience with the javelin where I tried throwing it and it hit my head. And then that's when I decided I'm not doing that. And yeah, I did a lot of sports. I did a lot of public speaking competitions that were at the school. And I think that was just for me to build confidence. And like I said, I did pageantry. Me and my mom were at a pageant almost every single weekend. In Joburg, mostly, we would go and compete. So for me, the public speaking sort of prepared me for that. And also it just allowed me to be able to shape things into words and pictures so that I can communicate more effectively. And then also, I was a teacher's pet, like a major teacher's pet. I listened in class, I did my homework. I'm the type that reminded the teacher whenever we had homework. Like, I was that type, I wasn't everyone's favorite, but I enjoyed school so much that, I wanted to make sure that my books were up to date, they were covered, they were neat, they were well written. I also had to be in the top 10 academic achievers. I was someone that made sure, and if I wasn't, I'd cry, I'd go home and I'd cry. I remember with report day, I was always crying. My mom never needed to yell at me because I was very strict on myself and things, and that also led to a lot of anxiety, which is something we will unpack as we go on. And yeah, I think for me, there's a lot that high school brought up, and I only realized once I got to university that there's a lot of things that I swept under the carpet growing up, and then it came up again when I got to university and I started asking myself questions. And after high school, like I said, I went to university. I had to pick a degree. I was good at science, so I ended up in the science field. Initially, I would have loved to have done medicine, but I didn't make it. And then I didn't make the cut. And then I moved on to a BSc, hoping to jump into medicine. And I think the first year into the BSc, I realized that that's not something that I actually want to do. And I then and there just was like, I'm not doing the medicine thing, and I'm going to just move on from where I am with what I have and see where the science thing takes me. I know there was a time where I even wanted to switch to a more artistic career because I felt like I was more artistically inclined, but it didn't work out that way. My mom is a stern believer in finishing what you start. And like I said, she's always been my backbone. And in that, she just advised me to say, you know what, just finish what you're doing now. Once you're done and you still have that dream, it's something that you can go revisit or not. And I'm very grateful for that advice that she gave me, because once I completed that, I decided, okay, let me further my studies. I did an honors degree. After an honors degree, then I went on now to do a master's degree in pharmaceutical sciences. And for me, that journey is one that has so many things that we can unpack out of it. I mean, there was so much of finding myself that I had to do. There was so much of learning who I am, who I want to be, where I want to go, and which parts of me were sort of things that I inherited, and which part of me are things that I actually want to continue with. Because I remember there was a profound moment in my entire university journey where I started asking myself, did I make these decisions because I wanted to make the decisions, or did I make them because I felt that is what was expected of me in making these decisions? And I think once I got to unpacking the answers to that question, I learned more about myself. I learned more about the direction that I'd like to take in life. I learned more about the world as a whole as well. And it's something that I look forward to also sharing. And then we're going to move on to why? Why and what am I hoping to get out of this entire experience of having a podcast. I know I started off by saying I feel like I have a story, and I feel like I can pave a way for other people so they can decide whether they would like to walk the path that I've walked, or they want alternative roads, or there's just warnings of things that I saw on my journey that maybe they might see again. And that's part of the main reason why I want to have this podcast. I want to share my experiences, my challenges, my wins, my losses. And also, I want to understand myself more. And I realized sitting down and actually talking about yourself and talking about your experiences and talking about things that have happened to you allows you to look deeper into yourself, to answer questions that you might not have had, that other people might give you, or to answer questions that you have never even thought about. But now that you're articulating it and you're voicing it and you're putting it out there, you get to have answers about yourself that you're like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't see myself as that. And also, I think exposing yourself to people allows you to also learn so much about yourself, because you're not the only person that experiences yourself. So as a person, I can say I'm this type of person, or I can say who I aspire to be, but the way people perceive me and experience me might be completely different. And this offers me that chance to sort of learn about myself and to see how the world perceives me and how to be better, just be a better human being to people out there, be kinder, be nicer, be more aspirational, more inspirational, more empowering. And I think that's also one of the big reasons why I want to have this podcast. And lastly, I want to connect. I think COVID showed a lot of us that community really matters. I think we were locked up for so long that we got to a point where we realized that having people and having community and having connections is a vital part of staying mentally sane and mentally healthy. I know there's this thing where they call like the third home. So you've got your home, then you've got your work. Then there's a third home, which is basically a place that you go in between those that keeps you sane. Growing up, for most of our family members, it was church. And then I think a lot of churches went online, and a lot of things just are streamable. And there's also a lot of controversies that happen in terms of churches and things that happen, and trust in terms of the institution. And a lot of us pulled out of that church home, and now we don't know where to find community. We don't know where to find connection, and we don't know where to go home if I am not going to my home where I sleep, and if I'm not going to work. And I'm hoping to create a space where we can have a third home, where we can build community, where you can meet with people that are more like you, that have similar thoughts, that don't have similar thoughts, to offer a different perspective. And I remember praying to God and saying, I really want community. I really want people that are like me, that have similar values than me, similar values as me, to walk with me this journey and to just live life so we can be happy and just share our lives together. And I think this podcast is one of those answered prayers, I believe, that will allow me to build community and to build a group of people that are similar, like-minded, that have goals to achieve. And even though we're not going to be exactly the same person, which I will admire actually, because then we get to learn from each other, it will afford us that luxury. And that is why I started this podcast. And this is why I am doing this big thing. Emotionally, I am nervous. The perfection in me is screaming right now, because as I'm talking, I feel like I'm all over the place, and I should have had a script and things should have been a certain way. But I think this opportunity will allow me to move from comfort and be a bit discomfortable, uncomfortable, and be a bit uncomfortable and just be vulnerable and do something new. I think for a while I've been doing exactly the same thing over and over, and it will allow me to do something new and something different. So I'm excited, I'm anxious, I'm nervous, and more than anything, I'm looking forward to walking this journey with you. I'm looking forward to learning with you. I'm looking forward to growing with you. I'm excited to see what it becomes, because for now, I have no idea what it's going to be. I have no idea how big it will be, how small it will be, if it will touch 100 lives or if it will touch 2 lives. But I'm excited to just share my story, to share my vision, to share my perspective, and to give out love as much as I can. So thank you, and come with me on this beautiful journey.